Well, this morning we are learning more about a deadly shooting rampage in California. A gunman targeted 7 locations in the rural community of Rancho Tehama. Among them, an elementary school that went on lockdown just moments before the killer could enter.
4 people died in the assault. 10 more were injured, including at least 1 young student. The suspected shooter is Kevin Jansen Neal. Now, he was killed by police. Investigators say Neal chose his targets at random and stole 2 vehicles during the rampage. Officers also recovered 1 semi-automatic rifle and 2 handguns. Jamie Yuccas has more.
This individual shooter was bent on engaging and killing people at random.
Armed with at least 3 guns and a ballistic vest, the shooter began his rampage just before 8 a.m., killing 2 of his neighbors. He then stole their truck and began driving toward a nearby elementary school, shooting randomly at people along the way. Sarah Gonzalez had just dropped off her daughter when the gunman blocked her car.
He pretty much stopped me and shot at me 3 times through his windshield.
When he stopped firing, she says he continued toward the school.
My friend, she told us that there was a guy by the gate, like running into the gate, and that he had a gun.
School officials heard gunshots and made a critical decision to lock it down.
The quick action of those school officials, there's no doubt in my mind, saved countless lives.
The gunman tried to enter the school but couldn't get in. He fired about 30 rounds in 6 minutes before he took off.
He did shoot at a number of classrooms, which resulted in the injury of at least 1 or 2 students that I'm aware of.
A short time later, a patrol car rammed the suspect's vehicle. Officers then opened fire and killed him.
All of a sudden, there was just like pa, 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 and then just like a lot of gunfire.
He's a bad guy, and I'm not going to glorify him in any manner whatsoever. He attacked my school.
That was Jamie Yuccas just outside the Rancho Tehama Elementary School with the very latest. Actually, Jamie, you're right there. Jamie, what can you tell us about the suspected gunman?
Well, I can tell you that neighbors had been in a dispute with this man for quite some time. It sounds like he would fire off bullets, large rounds, multiple rounds at a time. He also would fight with his neighbors quite a bit. We don't know exactly what about, but we do know that one of the feuds he was engaged in last year was potentially an alleged assault against one of the victims yesterday who died. It sounds like he was not well liked within this rural community, but he's somebody that went on this rampage. He had at least 3 guns from what it sounds like during those press conferences with the sheriff's office yesterday. And we don't know why he had those guns, because allegedly when he attacked that neighbor, he was taken to jail. And so there were some red flags as to why he would be able to have the guns in his possession.
So, Jamie, talk about those 2 victims who were the gunman's neighbors. What more can you tell us about their connection to him?
Well, we do know that there was, again, that assault that allegedly took place last year, where he did go to jail potentially for a stabbing in that case, is what we had been hearing through various reports. But we don't know specifically what they were feuding about. We know that he would fire off those multiple rounds. This is a rural area, so it wasn't unusual. There are some places around town where people go to fire off their guns, but he would do it day in and day out. And apparently over the last couple of days had really ramped up that shooting with around his home. So we don't specifically know what was going on, just that it sounds like it was a neighborly feud that had been going on for at least the last year.
Okay, but he ended up at this elementary school. Do we know anything about why he ended up there? Does he have a connection to that school?
So we don't know about a connection, Anne-Marie, at this point in time, but we do know that there are 7 different locations. There were 7 crime scenes where this individual stole a truck, crashed it at one point, starts shooting at people on his way towards this elementary school, crashes another car. So when he ends up here, he tries to get inside the school and can't. Now, that's really because of the quick thinking. You heard the sheriff's office talk about that in that press conference, is that they had heard that there was some shooting shooting that had taken place about a quarter of a mile away. This is just 2 miles from where the shooting allegedly started yesterday. So they had heard that about a quarter of a mile away that there was a shooting incident, so they locked down the school. That was very smart of them, because then once the gunman was able to get here, he wasn't able to get inside. When he wasn't able to get inside, he did start firing at the school, but really they saved so many lives from what it sounds about, that this individual was just so angry trying to get in and couldn't, but eventually, you know, did leave and then encountered police who killed him. So this is one of those situations where really they did everything right here at the elementary school. We're hoping to maybe talk with some of the individuals here today as to some of the heroics that happened, keeping all those children safe. The majority of injuries were really the neighbor within the neighborhood. There were 2 people that were killed there. And then as he was driving, he was just randomly shooting. And as the sheriff's office talked about, it sounds like he was really picking targets at random. So we don't know if this was just another random target here at the elementary school, or if he was randomly targeting people on his way here and then as he was leaving as well.
All right, Jamie Yuccas reporting for us. Thank you, Jamie.